Well, Kyle,
Yes, Garrett.
we're back.
Dawntrail.
There's a lot of opinions about Dawntrail.
You don't say.
People have so many opinions.
I mean, we know there's been a change of writers because Crystal Tower hasn't been brought up yet. And
Really, my question.
And Grahatia is sidelined, which means Ishikawa is now in a leadership role and has lost all control. In fact, they even rebelled and made their own Grahatia and thinks it's better than our Grahatia, who went to the same school.
Whoa. Our goal with today's video is by scratching the absolute surface, like the true surface of this expansion. And we believe in, from what we've played, that the first 5 quests, basically, here is the stage, we have set it, go embark on your adventure. That's how it feels. Sure, because we know Solution 9 is a thing, it's going to explode into things that expand beyond our current understanding of the state of Tural. But in the meantime, again, goal of this video is for us to see, does Dawntrail even have stakes? So we were talking about Final Fantasy XIV.
Naturally.
It may surprise some folks.
Shocking.
We do that pretty often. And we came to the joint conclusion that there's a single scene in the stage setting of Dawntrail in the first 5 quests that kind of is this perfect character bed of conversation. This play that you can just point to it and be like, this is it. This is where most of the adventure we are setting off on is focused, is coalesced.
The 5-paragraph essay
Ooh,
on why you should care.
The cliff notes of all of the opening encompassing Welcome to Tuliolol and all of that stuff.
Pretty much. I mean, what did we miss? Checking the tablets, then checking them again, and they were the same?
Checking
kind of
on
weird.
tacos.
The tacos did get stepped on. That was a character moment. Yeah.
The guy seems like a dick until the scene we're about to talk about. Let's take a look.
Let's talk about that.
It's in a book, Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
If you are second-guessing your decision, tell me now. This may be my last chance to help you withdraw.
Never mind, Graha got brought up.
You are wrong.
I'm wrong.
You were wrong. I didn't remember. I rewatched this like an hour ago. I don't even remember that this happened. Because that's how unimportant Grahatia is in Dawntrail.
They were completely done with Dawntrail and just an email slides into the inbox. Ishikawa.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh yeah, absolute Chad.
What music to play.
Here they come! It's Zoraal Ja! Such a fearsome
Such an
being.
ass.
Make no mistake, there goes Tuliola's mightiest warrior.
Out comes America.
First promise.
Actually, I guess Britain, because colonialism.
First promise. Our village needs aid. The cold weather stunts our crops, and the children of our village go hungry.
Any thoughts on Mr. Simpington here?
Oh, Mr. Simpington. I think he's smiling too much. That's the part that bothers me.
He looks devious because of that. Look, don't let the Karen hair fool you. Oh, things are going so bad. We really need help. Like, why are you smiling?
Also, Zoraal
Shit
Ja
sounds bad.
Zoraal Ja hasn't spoken to this moment. Through the entirety of the meeting with his father, didn't say a word, but then is willing to say, well, his seer's name behind him, but still, like, was willing to interact in this moment. I think it's a little bit of Estinian buys a map in my head recently, doing the patch content, but when characters are smiling weird, it's purposeful. I think they could have made this guy look more sad. The children are starving.
I feel like this man, yeah, this guy throws me off, and I think it just might be voice acting direction.
Could be.
Yeah.
Or he's a plant.
Maybe.
Could be a plant in the audience.
Maybe. Possibly. I don't know.
Once you ascend the throne, I beg of you, grant my people new lands,
He
please.
sounds... Actually, I'm sorry, it's not even voice acting direction, because he sounds concerned.
Yeah. The face is just a little casual.
He looks like he's at a day out in Disney World.
He just got picked for the Raiders show.
Raiders?
The Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry that I didn't realize that, because that's one of my favorite. I hope to God they never replace the things currently at Hollywood Studios.
I took my wife on a date there when we were first met. She got called up to the show. She was
What?
in it.
I didn't know that about Kristen.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm surprised you're still held on to her and she's not married to an Indiana Jones stuntman.
Lucky me.
Zoraal Ja, the first promise and commander of the Landscape. Zoraal Ja, the palace seer. As he was so careful to remind the crowd, Zoraal Ja is indeed the natural child of Zoraal Ja.
And Resilient Son, is that another title, like the first promise?
After a fashion. Common knowledge has it that two-headed Mamulja cannot sire children. Yet Zoraal Ja was born all the same, with the head of resolve's features and the head of reason's scales. An extraordinary example of life's unyielding resilience.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Dad.
first big pause.
Okay.
First big pause. First off, I have handwritten notes in my Dawntrail notebook.
I messed
Here,
up
you can
so
see
bad.
You can see it right here. Look at that.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Look at those
in your
notes.
little book. I did mine on paper so you wouldn't know, but
This right here, this is the most on-brand difference between Kyle and me.
I'm doing the little book next time. That's the perfect place to keep this.
Anal retention, joy and free spirit.
But I'm sad.
So Zoraal Ja. I wrote down names. I foolishly wrote them in cursive, so I might need a minute on some of this.
I think you're good.
Here's my notes for Zoraal Ja. Actual notes.
Oh, I see.
The real big bad. At least as so far as we know. I'm sure there's going to be something that
bigger
ratchet
bads,
things up later on. But Zoraal Ja, of everybody embarking on this
Tournament?
contest, everyone embarking on this contest, Zoraal Ja is the real big bad. We were told back in 655 by Wuk Lamat herself that he's the real big bad, the one that should not be allowed to rule. And then in parentheses, I also put first promise because I didn't remember that everyone also had this promise next to their name with a number, unless you're taco crushing two-headed daddy that everybody wants to climb like a tree.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Important stuff here. Actual blood heir and the first big, WTF of Dawntrail.
So either Dad is the most virile Ja of all, or he's got some technology on his side, is where I'm going.
I don't think it's going to be that simple.
You don't think it's a cloning facility, genetic
No,
lab
that's the thing. I think that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's going to be as simple as he's just natural born and Daddy Ja was just like, oh, my seed is just so strong.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that strong because you still only have one natural child and everyone else is an adopted child. Also, I don't believe they've gotten into the age of any of them. Did he start adopting because he didn't think he was going to have a kid? And then he had a kid, so surprise? Or is the natural born child the oldest, which would really tip me off that, was made? I feel like if Zoraal Ja is the youngest, I put a lot of weight towards, okay, it was a surprise, actually is kind of a miraculous birth. Let's go with that. But if he's the firstborn, it means, something fishy's going on, and they weren't able to do it a second time.
First promise. To me, it makes sense. I've got a whole, once you lay one piece, you start putting all the other Legos in place. I can go too far today. I can go just far enough. Let me start with just far enough here. First promise, made in a genetic lab. He's thinking to himself, as every great ruler throughout history, I've made this empire. What's going to happen when I'm gone? I'm the glue holding it together. And like all great emperors that were warlords, he's got a lot of guilt. Tons of guilt for what he did, including that whole side business about he kind of took over a giant's temple to make this place. That's not exactly lawful good. It does serve as a good staging ground for his empire and his seat, his throne, but it's kind of evil. Controlling myself for a hot moment, I gotta make sure I don't go too far. Zoraal Ja, the Dawn Servant. In his travels, he had companions. We know that much from the previous conversation before this scene.
Like Kryle's grandfather.
Probably the people we're going to meet along the way while completing the challenge.
Like Kryle's grandfather.
Exactly. They found the City of Gold.
Like Kryle's grandfather.
He joined together these people and became worried that he didn't have an heir, so he made one. He made one in a genetic lab who ended up being Zoraal Ja. The obvious conclusion there is, if previously the lizard folk only put those in seats of power that had two heads, there was a breeding program. They were trying to make them in a lab, maybe an Ascian got involved trying to take over it. Definitely some bad stuff, because back in Taco Scene, even Wuk Lamat goes into, there are 3 different tribes of lizard folk.
Yeah.
And if these 2 certain types have sex, they will create a 2-headed, sometimes, very rarely,
I was about to say,
Ja.
I was like, it's not guaranteed.
Yes.
In fact, it's very much not guaranteed.
Which suggests they may have had a evil breeding program where they were trying to make these, and that was the wheel that Dawn Servant was trying to break here by using the genetic facility for good. Because he's now a good person.
When you do the Team America voice, it just makes me giggle.
I mean, did a Team America voice?
For good.
For good. Yeah, I guess I did do that.
And a warrior's reticence. He says little, but the way he moves... I know a hardened soldier when I see one.
Alize has a crush.
He's a natural swordsman, a gift he inherited from his father. Some even say that the son has already surpassed the sire. Should he come to power, the first promise means to employ that martial prowess in the conquest of foreign lands. For this, he and his supporters have been labeled expansionists. This puts him in direct opposition to Wuk Lamat, who advocates for the preservation of peace. You may recall that she spoke of a claimant who cannot be allowed to rule. That is Zoraal Ja, the warmonger.
Cryon, are you all right?
The echo. It gave me a glimpse into Zoraal Ja's ambitions. Deep and unknowable, like an abyss. Yet at the same time, a roaring, unquenchable fire. It was a trifle terrifying, to be frank.
So we have a traditional Garlean villain with extra steps. This character is constructed of nothing but red flags. We were told in the preview, in the lead up, in the prelogue to Dawntrail 655, this guy can't win. By joyous, I say Goku, One Piece fans say Luffy-ish.
Naruto, whatever it may be that you relate to it.
Shonen as fun, loving, joyous,
Muscle Cat.
Muscle Cat, Wuk Lamat. We were told point blank before we even started this expansion. And now, first off, Arnfil going off of like, boy, just wants to conquer everybody. Do all the conquering. You like war? This is your guy. And if that wasn't enough for us to be like, pretty sure this is a bad guy. I don't know. Maybe you're into conquest, which... But that aside, if you were somehow really, really, like, narratively dense, Kryl is here to be like, this dude's bad news.
I'm jealous.
Sets off her echo, doesn't, like, we get
we got no echo.
It's kind of cool to be on the outside of the echo. This is one of my favorite parts of the entire opening of Dawntrail.
Interesting.
I think it's really cool to be on the outside of the echo.
It's a great story device. My personal character, probably spacing out a little at this point. I've met a lot of political figures. Probably doing my best to retain it. Maybe not being echo sensitive in this moment. I'm okay with that. I'll accept that canon.
Echo sensitive?
Yeah. That goes passing by, but I'm miles away. Thinking about beaches. The upcoming beach episode.
Okay, all right. That makes
what
sense.
Swimsuit I'm going to wear on the sandy cove.
But yeah, I really, all I wrote down was set off Kryl's echo in a bad way. And I just thought that was cool. Because, like, there's decorum, there's tradition here. Everyone's more or less, unless you're stepping on Wuk Lamat's tacos, behaving. But I take this as this is massive foreshadowing that this dude is absolutely bad news, and we're going to be shocked and appalled at what Zoraal Ja actually does when we embark on this what I'm calling an Indiana Jones AF adventure. Might as well be 4 warring groups of archaeologists with thankfully no Nazis in sight, although maybe some of them exhibiting slight
expansionist ideals,
dictatorship
could be
style leadership qualities.
Yeah, Zoraal Ja missed the tournament. Not a big deal. It wasn't for him, but he was expected to be there in some regard. He was off fighting one of our kaiju. What was he really off doing? Is he actually into that? Was he actually defending the realm? Maybe. That could be a red herring. I think the more important thing about this particular moment is that Alize and Alphino are here. Their whole purpose in being in Toral is to gather information to help out Garlemald. And if Zoraal Ja is sitting here being like, hey, I want to take over a weak nation with lots of land, there's a good chance that he's going to go take over Garlemald. Now, my D&D brain says, why would a lizard folk want to take over Snow Zone? That's probably not very healthy for him. But it is a landmass that would be available to him.
Yeah, and they probably don't go that deep. Like, they're wearing clothes. They could get a coat.
Yeah, they could get a coat, absolutely.
Are they cold-blooded?
Yeah, they're wearing hats all around here.
How deep are we going? Like, yeah, I would probably not read too much. This is a game that has shown time and time again that everybody will travel everywhere if it suits the narrative. There's not really... The only time we've gotten the people like don't want to go in somewhere, it's more about like sacred sites, and it's usually for religious purposes.
And it could just be all of Alphinaud's friends and family, and like we're all weakened from the final days, so expansionism right now would be rather successful.
Well, and hadn't they already agreed to be a part of the third promise and like help Wuk Lamat? So they also should be here because they need to understand what's going on so that they can make good on their signing up to help Wuk Lamat. I didn't think about it in it too much, other than I was just like, it's good that they're here because they're two characters that have spent a lot of time and done a lot of growing because of their involvement in the world stage. And here they are being exposed to a new chunk of the world stage that they were pretty, and still are pretty ignorant to.
Aaronville wouldn't be as invested in the world under attack.
No, Aaronville's not our guy on the outside. Aaronville grew up here. He knows what's going on. We don't. But we're an unvoiced character as the Warrior of Light. We have Alizo and Alizo. We have Alizo.
Alizo.
We have Alize and Blue Alize to be our voiced outsiders that can start piecing it together and help it make sense for us, the playing audience.
Perfect.
Cool. We continue on.
Second promise, you must bring us more marvelous conveniences, more dirigibles and trains and the like. We need you in charge to make trading easier.
The elders, they complain and complain about abandoning tradition. But we're not like them, afraid of everything foreign and new.
You have our wholehearted support. With your ingenuity and knowledge, you're sure to win the contest.
Forgive me, but the right of succession is barely begun. I will hear your petitions if and when I am named Dawn Servant. If you will excuse me.
I'm going to righteously steal from our chat room.
Oh?
Someone in chat the other day, while we were playing through this segment, messaged that Koana wants to just gentrify Toral, and it made me laugh so hard. And now when I'm rewatching it, when the trader runs up and is like, "Oh, we need you in charge," I'm like, "You want a Chipotle so bad,
yeah,
you can't even like hold it inside."
I mean, that's kind of the idea, right?
Koana, second promise, adopted bro. Wuk Lamat's adopted bro. The traders love him. The Pelu, as they're known in 14.
I do love this guy. He's got great energy.
The Pelu,
yeah,
the trader.
Just running up.
He's having a good time. And the other guy is just like, so desperately wants to say something and instead
just wants to be a part of it.
Just paints the picture as obvious as humanly possible for the audience. It's just, we're not afraid of what the olds think.
We continue to paint a picture of the Dawn Servant. He purposefully gathered these adopted children to even out his brood. His single born from the machine, I theorize.
Yep.
And in this case, if Zoraal Ja is from a machine, guess who's going to destroy that machine in their character growth? This guy.
Koana?
Koana.
Oh, okay.
Because naturally, Koana needs to learn that technology can only go so far, that tradition is healthy. A certain amount of tradition can be a very powerful thing.
You're getting ahead to my final closing statement.
Oh, okay.
I have a closing cook.
Oh,
and that
okay.
gets into
All
my
right.
closing cook.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm going to hold for now.
Okay,
until we're done.
excellent.
That was the other thing I noted about him that he's super practical. He's not, even though he has supporters, he's not like, yes, come to me. I'm not too cool to not even talk to you myself, like Zoraal Ja, which, yeah, that dude just sucks. Like, This guy's like pleading with you for the safety of his family, and you're like, talk to him, my designated talker. But Koana, he'll talk to them themselves, but he's focused. But I think that's also, I'd see that as a good quality of his, because you can tell he doesn't seem like he's assuming he's going to win. He talks in ifs. He's like, if and when I actually become Dawn Servant, we can talk about that then. Right now, that is not helpful information for me. I need to focus on what I'm doing. He's a pragmatist. He's very practical.
He might also have increased confidence because he already has Oriange and Thancred in the field. I theorize.
We think.
If you received a letter in Charlian, that's probably where they got it. You think Oriange would put up with any of these other nerds? He would 100% be for Graha Blast.
Yeah, I could see Thancred, though, like hanging out with Taco Crusher.
That was by design. He forwent his usual garb and took an Eorzean name to avoid attention.
Loves it.
How gracious of you all to cheer the lesser Clayhuns.
They love him. Except for that.
They don't.
No, yeah, they don't, yeah.
That whole group is very concerned.
Oh, come now. What are you afraid of? I'm no different from your Dawn servant.
I like that they're leading with their, bunch of fans, but also there's a sizable amount of people that are straight up afraid of this dude. Are they just generally afraid of Ja Ja, the two-headed, any two-headed lizardman? Or is it Bakul Ja Ja specifically they're afraid of?
It is an interesting comparison to the Dawn Servant. Because obviously, he's quite loved. Seen around, he's called Papa. Casually approached. Estinian is no slump in choosing, maybe not financial backings, but characters. And he dueled him and just walked out fine. Seems like a cool guy. If you get invited, you're gonna live in the castle. That's the best thing about Baku Ja Ja is his comparison to the Dawn Servant. And constantly throughout the conversation in the throne room, Dawn Servant's just like, oh, I hate this guy. Oh my God. Probably because he's reminding him of his younger self.
I would imagine, but definitely just the previous Dawn Servants. Because we know that Papa is revered for bringing peace and uniting all of these people, and that we have two folks that are kind of warmongering adjacent. One that wants to expand, and another that just wants to return to the old ways, and that's what's happening here with Bakul Ja Ja. But yeah, the concept of fear I find interesting.
My kind should reign is Mamulja tradition, and has been so since before there was a Tuliyolan. I'll brush aside your feeble contenders, and then you'll see who deserves your deity. Well said, brother.
Love that guy.
Same. Got him. So concerned.
The Mamulja have finally found peace in Tuliolal. I pity those fanatics are intent on keeping that tradition alive.
The chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Ja Ja, winner of the recent martial tournament, and the only claimant not of the Dawn's promise. His strength is undeniable, but you see how he is. A few devoted Mamulja are his only supporters.
There's a lot of people cheering there.
What would he do with the throne should he win it?
His policies and so forth. I doubt he's thought much beyond winning the contest itself. But one thing seems certain. If he does become Dawn Servant, he will see the Mamulja exalted as the ruling class, and all others forced into subservience.
Sounds like another that cannot be allowed to rule.
I got a bit hung up on this live on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Valde.
Oh,
seems like there's two that shouldn't be allowed to rule.
Absolutely.
But the more I think about Bakul Ja Ja and how much I thoroughly enjoyed everything about him, especially in this scene. I think Zoraal Ja is ripe for a Vegeta arc. He's gonna have a good old fashioned face turn.
Obviously, tradition favors him a lot.
Yes, but the world we know, the Tuliolal that we stepped into, for the most part, seems like they don't care.
No, they don't really want
living in that city. That's a world that is born of new traditions.
And he's got his entourage, which kind of ties into the whole Mamul Ja traveling to the Eorzean continent in order to become mercenaries or take part in campaigns over there, now coming back to be a part of this effort, maybe behind Zoraal Ja. There's some political machinations, but I agree with Aaronville here. Like, I don't think he's really thinking through. He's like, win, woo! And then he'll figure it out. I think he's perfect for the bully turned friend arc.
Yeah, one might call him the Saiyan Prince.
One could. If we relate everything back to the Dawn Servant, we find ourselves in a situation where Baku Jaja's journey is going to match that of Papa.
Yeah, the thing I found interesting is I'm with you. The crowd seems big for him, but Aaronville points out not a ton of supporters.
I guess the more important aspect of everyone piecing out here is that they feel like they've seen everybody who's competing. Not necessarily that they were there to support the final contestant they saw.
But, well, there were people cheering.
Yeah.
Not everybody, though.
No.
There were a ton. Again, it seemed like it was descending order. It was like mostly cheering for Expansionist Dude, quite a bit of cheering for Adopted Brother, Graha Blast, and then some.
And then everyone's like, and now in fourth place, and everyone's like, well, I'm going to see if I can beat the parking lot rush.
Exactly what I was going to
say. Okay. Yep. It's time to head out.
Yep. If you leave now, you can beat the traffic. Or you can stay here and beat your meat. Woo! Yeah, Wuk Lamat #1!
We wish for one thing and one thing only, Third Promise. To abide together in harmony with our neighbors whom we love in this land we share.
I love
it is our way.
This voice actor.
His voice makes him just so huggable.
Zoraal Ja built for us this peaceful nation, and we beg you to preserve it.
You have my word. I won't let your pleas go unanswered.
Until Tuliolal was founded some 80 years ago, this continent was ravaged by war. The eldest among us remember that dark era, and they are Wuk Lamat's most ardent supporters.
Okay, pause.
I was going to say this is what it felt like to be at BlizzCon anytime Day 9 was in the room. Like, only 3 people knew who I was and cared.
8 years ago. That's not a long time. So Dad got a lot of shit done before he parked his butt in the chair.
Also, how American he's, you know.
Oh, 2 terms.
Leaving after 2 terms.
Well, good on him.
Weirdly Western of them. So Wuk. Supported by the elders.
True.
Man, I completely missed the 8 years thing. Like, what are they, 23? Like, 8 years is nothing.
No. It seems important. I wonder what happened 8 years ago that could have been important. Editor, help me out. It's like Flash, was it the main calamity? Was that 8 years ago? Did that happen?
Yeah,
what happened 8 years ago?
What happened 8 years ago, Noel?
And why would that...
Does anyone know?
But Wuk Lamat here has all the points going for a good person. She's hanging out with basically her mother.
She wants to keep things the way they are, and it seems like some people like things the way they are. I am surprised more people don't seem to like the way things are because they're all living in Tuliolal, it seems like. But yeah.
It's hard to get away. This is Namika, my childhood nursemaid. She's been like a mother to me my whole life.
Confirming she's wholesome.
I told her it wasn't necessary, but she insisted on seeing us off.
I place our precious third promise into your care. Did you know Wuk Lamat was taking part in the rite of succession?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you hear
The Dawn's promise. I thought it was only Zoraal Ja and Koana. If she has any accomplishments to her name, I've yet to hear them.
It's ripping on it.
So on the nose.
Compared to the 2 Mamul Ja, she pales in martial prowess. And then there's Koana, who's far and away the most educated of the bunch. I hate to say it, but it's hardly a competition.
I love that line because she just like straight up called Wuk Lamat weak and stupid.
Yep. Laid it all out.
Not as strong, not as intelligent.
The best part is stepmom's face here in a hot moment.
Oh.
She's got her eyes closed. She's like in pure meditation.
Just
serenity now. Just like...
Yeah, that's the face you make if you have a 90s sitcom in-law.
Yep. She is keeping it together. She wants to tell off those gossipers.
Her best, yeah.
I understand how much better my brothers are than me.
You know she's the hero that's going to grow as a person in Final Fantasy XIV because she puts herself down. Doesn't believe in herself. She doesn't stand up for herself here at all. Just admits, yeah, I know how much better my brothers are than me.
True, but it shows acknowledgement of everything that just happened around her. Everyone got more cheers.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Everyone got more accolades than her. But that acknowledgement of it communicates to us, the audience, that she is indeed not stupid. In fact, quite a few people could, the gospel. I want to believe the gospels. No, like this line is for you and is right here so that you're not confused by the gossip in the room.
Well, yeah. And I find that strange too, because like to me, I took like 655 and specifically that solo duty put us on is like establishing that what can hang with the Warrior of Light, canonically the biggest badass in this game. You, me, everybody playing at home.
I mean, she's level 90 just like us. Clearly she had to do something to get there.
Yes, if you want to canonize power levels in this game.
I think you should. I think it's an interesting activity.
But I quite like that. This answered so many questions I had looking at the Dawntrail website leading into this. We finished 655. We popped open the website and they had this whole cast of characters spelt out. And we're like, wait, who's a real brother? Who's an adopted brother? Technically, none of the siblings are actually related to each other. None of them. There's only one blood offspring. And then the other two siblings are adopted, but not from the same birth parents. So none of the siblings are blood related in any way. That's been answered. Who's a brother? Who's not a brother? That got answered.
All cleaned up.
Is Koana a good guy? There's just something about Kona's design that made him look like a villain to me. Maybe it's because I don't really like machinists, and they're villainous in general.
Yeah. He's got a gun in the trailer.
Maybe that's my bias creeping in. I'm not trying to put down machinists. I'm trying to admit a bias here. But Arnville goes out of his way to be like, yeah, no, Koana and Wuk, they get along. They bicker like siblings do, but hey, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Says the other basically sibling of Wuk Lamat that bickers with Wuk Lamat constantly. Arnville would know.
Also a man racked with some sort of guilt going on in the background here. Some sort of regret. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure. Got a new name.
Yep. Took that. So clearly he had been around here. What's up with his family? Why does he know the Golden City so much? There's lots going on there.
Why did he take a new name?
Exactly.
Dad's really cool with that. Awesome. You should be cool with that.
But
unless your son wants to be named Indiana.
Junior. Obviously, Wuk Lamat already believes in herself, so that's not really the journey we need to go on, though we will have highs and we'll definitely have lows for her in the future.
Yeah.
Ultimately, she's going to face down the aspects of her father. I'm predicting. That's what I see.
We're literally retracing his steps for the contest, and the right of succession.
She's going to learn who he really was in the past, and every single sired child, adoptee, and tournament winner is an aspect of Dad that she needs to overcome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because not only is this Indiana Jones, it's basically just it's free Ren. We're retracing the heroic steps of those who adventured before us.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it is just one. The Dawntrail is gonna be free Ren. I'm calling it now. Endwalker with Sailor Moon, cool. I'll let you have that. I'm calling it right now. Dawntrail is free Ren. That's all there is to it.
The time periods would line up.
We're done.
Time periods would line up. They were watching it.
By the way, as a father,
okay,
would you be like, here, my wonderful children, rifle through my closet of skeletons in order?
I would if I think it would make you a stronger person.
Oh, okay.
If maybe I've been distant because I've had to run the Empire.
So you want your children to suffer as you have suffered.
Well, wake him up a little bit. There might also be a time limit to it.
Because I'm with you. That's where I'm shaky. I think we're going to uncover that there's more to Dad than meets the eye. And I do believe that. But if I believe that, why would he be the one who put this all together? If he has a dark past, why would you invite people to go rooting around in it?
Because he overcame it. And I think he knows that he should probably give it to his actual blood heir, but he knows he shouldn't. So he's trying to, like, bypass that guilt.
Oh, okay. I mean, it sounds like the rite of succession took place in the past, but it was only for Zsa Zsa. And he's like, okay, we're going to, like, keep a little bit of the tradition, but I'm flipping the script here.
We're
also,
updating
there's
this.
only one Zsa Zsa besides me running around right now, and that guy needs some personal growth.
And hopefully he'll find that on this journey.
And now we're putting it together. There it is. So you're putting them on this journey because you hope that they grow as people the way you did. Not because you necessarily have a dark past. Although, like, there's something going up with that damn blood son. The blood child.
Oh, totally.
There's something going on. That's where I think the actual, like, darkness is coming from. I don't know where. I don't know how. I don't know why. Maybe they found tech that they thought was, you know, you get that in, you can have that in this type, like the pyramids, like what we consider, this is Western, but what we consider ancient civilization. You know, there's so much fiction out there where crystal skull. I'm sorry.
Misunderstood technology? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
And thinking it's a religious rite or, you know, divine intervention. When in reality, an Ascian knocked over his trash can and forgot about it, and oops, now I got to genetically create a son.
That could be,
or a cloning tool behind.
Or the main showed up and was like, I can help you with this. You can stop the madness that is the breeding program of all the Zsa Zhas. Yeah,
who knows, right? That's yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know where to go with it, because obviously it's not like straight up cloning. If it was cloning, why wouldn't it have two heads?
That's a good point.
We pointed out that it's the head of it has the head of one and the scales of the other head.
Well, because you're trying to, like, make the perfect being. You know, that's what you do when you clone.
Yeah, maybe, but or if it's found technology that you don't quite understand, is that just kind of what happened?
And yeah, my big theory. Are you ready? Are we at the end here? Are we just going to go into, like, Theoryberg?
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
My big theory is that the other head is dead. That's why it's all bandaged up and held up. It's not flopping, you know, but it's got all the bandages to keep it aloft.
Whoa, okay.
It's got the cover on it. You know, if it was just peacefully sleeping, like, let it rest. It's an old man. But the head of reason is dead. And it died a while ago.
That is so dark. I would love it if that's right. I don't think you're right, but I hope you're right.
And yeah, I'd also love if the head just, like, woke up and just spouted some whiz-biz bullshit and then went back to sleep.
That's what I think was going to happen.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that, too.
Yeah. Gaze upon me in despair. Oh, my God, what was that?
The third star from the right will awaken. And then just,
yeah.
That's it.
That's extremely wow, though. That kind of...
What?
That kind of...
Deadhead?
No, like the third star from the right will awaken.
Yeah, sure.
And then we forget about it for 7 expansions.
Well, it'd be 7.3. Because it moves faster than you think, but they'd still save it for 0.3.
So, City of Gold, Papa is confirming it exists. Not only confirms it exists, says he's been there himself, and he himself sealed it. And a third existing fiction, I'm going to say this is also extremely just like Ready Player One, we got to go collect things from different places, from somebody's past, to get the prize at the end.
But ultimately, it is this wholesome little moment of truth, much like the secret that had no meaning in Ready Player One. That is the answer.
Yeah, and Ready Player One's kind of cringe. I like Ready Player One, but it's pretty cringe.
It's pretty
fucking cringe. All right, so I've already talked a little bit about this on stream, but after playing the first 5 quests of Dawntrail, I'm really doubling down on this. I have no idea. This doesn't inform anything about Solution 9. We know it exists. We know we're heading towards some sort of technological marvel. Is it the City of Gold? Like, does the entrance of a gold facade that makes it look like an ancient civilization, you walk in and, like, Crystal Skull, you're like, holy shit, it's a UFO.
It's just that simple. Could be.
So Solution 9, that's my big monkey wrench that I don't know where it fits right now. I have no idea. And I don't think anything in the opening of Dawntrail hints at it. But in regards to this contest, the rite of succession and how it plays out, I believe we're heading toward a council and not a single leader. We have sat there and we have figured out these 4 main characters, these 4 main contestants, 5 if you count the second head, to the throne. And I'm really, Buckle Zsa Zsa is Vegeta as hell, and he just seems ripe for becoming a fun-loving, I got your back when it counts. He's kind, he's not nice.
To use modern terminology, yes.
He's kind. He'll give you his jacket. He will not... He doesn't care that you're cold.
Captain of the guard, leader of the council of war, whatever it may be. But then we have, they would make
East Coast.
They would make a nice council. Yeah, that's true.
Zoraal Ja is the villain. We're going to have to defeat, in Indiana Jones terms, this is our Belloc. This is the Nazis. This is Death Cult is kind of Temple of Doom doesn't hold up that great to scrutiny.
No.
I think Zoraal Ja is the actual villain in and amongst the competitors for the Rite of Succession. Other than that, the other three, they represent valid qualities. All of them. Wuk Lamat represents what is current and now and what is working, which is peace in our time. Koana represents open-mindedness and looking to the future and honestly and probably how they got to where they are now. His adopted father, he changed the script. He broke with tradition and he united multiple lands and brought peace to everyone in Tyrol, which I'm sure is peace with heavy quotations. I'm sure there are people who don't agree, and there are people in this contest that don't agree with how he does things. And then Bakul Jaja represents tradition, which isn't always bad. Shouldn't be thrown out with the bathwater necessarily. So I think between the other, you remove
Zoraal Ja. Yeah, take him out.
And you are left with
a three-party system.
A trifecta of
checks and balances.
Yes.
I'm feeling it. That could happen. It'd be a little cheese ball for us to yet again venture to a new land and start a council, or at least help. This would be their decision in this case, but a little cheese ball. But I can see it happening.
Worked for the Blood Elves.
Did it?
They ended up with a council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After Kael'thas, completely fucked things up. Yeah, actually, I really like the Blood Elf story. It's one of the things I thought they did quite well in World of Warcraft. So, Kyle, do you think Dawntrail has stakes?
Absolutely. It's packed with things that are about to happen. There is very little wasted space in this beginning.
Yeah, it wasn't super slow. It helps that I really like the city. I could see if you don't like Tuliowal, maybe it does feel slow to you. But as someone who absolutely adores any cuisine south of the border, Mexico and South America, that food, give it to me. It's so good. I love it. And I love palm trees, and I love Caribbean waters, and I love coral reef. There's a coral reef, Kyle.
It is pretty.
It's very pretty. So I'm into all of that. But yeah, I absolutely think there's stakes, and we've barely scratched the surface of it. So does it feel Stormblood-esque? I think so, but I don't see that as a negative. I quite enjoy Stormblood. It could hurry up at places, but that's really my only main complaint about Stormblood is kind of up through the Ruby Sea. I really wish they'd get on with it. But after that, I kind of love that expansion. And I'm feeling similar about this, but it seems a lot more, it seems more focused than Stormblood because we're not dealing with like the West and the East simultaneously.
That was a lot.
And that was part of what made the beginning of Stormblood in my mind so belabored, was like trying to like wrap my head around all of this. And just when you think you kind of understand what's happening in Alamigo, they're like, have we talked about Kugani? Which great, it's probably my favorite city in the game. But I was just like, I thought we had finished table setting. Can we go? Please, game. Whereas this, I'm like, hell yeah. I know exactly how the two zones we need to now go make a choice between how they tie into one another. It feels like they're painted with the same brush. No wonder Pictomancer is a job in this expansion.
And so powerful.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, shit.
Aliens are calling.
Yeah.